Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the HG Seraphim Gundam. So, about a few weeks ago I did review the HG Seraphim Gundam, the GN Heavy Weapons Type B version. And for those who remember that, basically if you buy that, the backpack, which was technically a Seraphim Gundam, does not actually come in this mold. It actually comes just in the folded up version. So, after trying that kit, I definitely wanted to try out the regular HG Seraphim Gundam that actually transforms, and yeah, definitely there were some unexpected parts that after building this kit, and I have a conclusion regarding this version as well. But anyway, since we have this kit ready, let's go on to the review. So first of all, let's go over components. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the mobile suit itself. The Seraphim Gundam itself, we get those, and then we only get one set of hands, which is the multi-purpose hands on left and right. And those hands are kind of different. Now, usually a Gunpla kit would have ball-jointed hands. Those ones are actually on pegs, so just wanted to mention that out. And then in terms of weapons, the only weapons we technically get with this specific kit is these. You get 2 beam saber hilts, but you get 3 beam saber effect parts. So you get 2 of the typical long ones, and then we actually get, for some reason, a short version of this, which is, oh, well, I don't mind it actually. I actually like short beam saber effect parts because they're kind of uncommon these days. So, which is why I do like to see them more often. Granted, we have the core Gundam, and it does come with a shorter version as well. So that's that. And then some leftover parts are pretty much some polycaps. So that's nothing too special regarding that. And we have a sticker sheet. As you can see, I use most of it except for this yellow one, which goes onto the sides. I'll try to point them out if possible. Alright, so before we go on to this kit, if you saw my pictures on Facebook, you might have noticed that this kid was holding a gun. So that gun was actually is this gun, which is actually included in the HG Gundam Seravee Gundam, the GN Heavy Weapons Type B. This was actually included, and this gun was actually meant for this kit. So I definitely brought it up as well. Now, and if you think the Seraphim Gundam is lacking some, weapons or equipment, the Seravee Gundam also included these parts. When I refer to Seravee Gundam, the G Heavy Weapons, they include these parts so you can detach a few parts from the Seravee weaponry, some cannons from the Seravee Gundam, and then reattach it to the shoulders and the side skirts as well. Of course, these parts, the side skirts can be replaced as anytime you want to, but the ones on these parts, these are actually that goes into the shoulder, so you're gonna have to disassemble them. So in this review, I won't be showing you guys that part, but I will be pointing out like where they're supposed to go as well, because I don't think they're too worthy to show in the review. Okay, so let's go on to the articulation. Let me get the stand out of the way, and let's see what we got. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit. So, the head. The head is very small, very typical as well, what you expect. The stickers are kind of small, but they're not too impossible. They're not impossible to apply. Now, as usual, like the Seravee Gundam or other 00 HG kits from Season 2, they do give you a clear piece on the forehead and then a sticker inside. But once again, after applying this, I kind of regret this look, so I might actually take this off, take the sticker off as well, and then color that clear piece into red, because I think that color does not look that well in this kit specifically. So, as you can see, the body, this is pretty much the same backpack face that we saw from the mold from the previous Seravee Gundam right over here. You can obviously tell that this is the main body, just to give you guys an idea. The mold had some articulation to the point where to give you an idea how this thing works. So, whoops. So yeah, of course they may look like the exact same mold, but some areas actually have more details on the Seraphim Gundam. I just wanted to point that out as well. I will be doing a comparison after the transformation as well, because there are some parts I would like to point out, and I'm just gonna say this is not the better version. I'm just gonna say when it comes to articulation or the overall performance, if you ask me. Okay, so now let's look at the arms. The arms, they can go up quite a lot, because as you can see, the polycaps is there, and it can go up and down a lot. So you can go, the arm can go about 90, the shoulder can go more than 90 degrees up, and then, well, kind of 90 degrees up, depending on how you look at it. And then the arm itself can't go much to the side, but if you move the shoulder together, you can definitely go more than you want. And since it is on the ball joint, you are able to go 360, and then the arm itself does have a 360 twist as well, but you need to be careful. So a lot of people pointed to me that they really hated these flaps, and I can understand why, because when you're building this kit, they first originally tell you to build it like this. in this format. Of course, this format is more meant for the transformation, so if you want to actually have the articulation on the arms, you have to flap these, you have to open these flaps, move the arm to the side, and then kind of rotate to the side as well. And then problem is, even with those, because of those flaps going on there, you cannot have the arm exactly all the way down, because as you can see, the back part right over here is colliding with the flaps. So if you really want to have this kit, and if you really want to save the articulation, I would say just get rid of these flaps if you want to, so, or at least the back ones, because the front ones you can kind of manage. The back ones is going to collide constantly. I just want to point that out. And once you have it out, about the bend is about 90 degrees, about that. And then here is a clear piece, and under the clear piece you're supposed to put a dark green sticker, which I did, but once again it didn't look good, so I also colored the clear part in a metallic green color, so to give out that extra shining vibe going on there. And as I mentioned, these hands are not your typical ball jointed hands, but they are pegs, even the cannon inside here. And then the handguard is clear for extra detail. Of course, I believe these also have to be like a dark green color, so you're going to need to color that as well. And yes, the face is actually, the big giant Gundam face is still there, it's still present. You can just slide that down and reveal right over there. And the eye section is still a sticker right over there as well. So yeah, the arm articulation isn't that great because mostly of these flaps, and there's just a lot of stuff going on here. Now the body, you don't really have an ab crunch going on here, and then the V-fin is still movable because of the transformation. But of course, the odd part is that I'm actually having more problem on this kit rather than on the mold, because it's one of the V-fins just keep popping out for some reason, which I did not have any problem with the previous mold as well. So there's no ab crunch, but you are able to go 360 on the entire arm, on the entire body. And then we have the front skirt, which is actually connected to a polycap ball joint. At first it was starting to pop out a little bit easily, but now I'm not having that issue, so that's pretty good. And then the side skirts are also on polycap ball joints as well. They don't move that much. And looking at the back, very simple looking backpack. We have this extra red molding here. That's a separate piece because I believe the original mold for the backpack did not have that detail as well. It's just a pure black part, so that's one improvement as well. And then let's see what we got. So, and then I believe on this top section here is a dark green sticker, which is barely noticeable if you ask me. And then the legs are connected to ball joints, so no side swivel here, but you still have a slight movement thanks to the ball joint. And we have a nice 90-degree up front kick and backwards as well. And then we have a nice bend going on here, but this is mostly due to the transformation. And technically you're supposed to have a yellow vent sticker right over here on the sides, but once again, I really felt like having extra yellow would kind of break the color, you know, combination here, so I just left it over in black. And I really don't like vent stickers in general. And here we have your ball joint, well technically yes, it's ball jointed with polycaps feet, so sorry about that. So this is mostly for the transformation, but still we have, because of the location of the ball joint, we have a very nice pivot going on here as well. And we do have a toe, kind of a toe bend that goes down, but once again, this is not really meant for the mobile suit as well. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the kit. So if you ask me, other than the arms, the articulation is pretty good, and the size is very small. Not as small as the core Gundam, but it's a very interesting, kit if you ask me. It's one of the unique ones. And as you can see, next to a typical HG kit, it's slightly shorter than when it comes to height as well. And kind of on the skinny side if you ask me, especially the legs. The arms, they might be okay, but I think when it comes to proportions, I think if they made the arms slightly longer, it might have looked actually better. Okay, so before I go to the transformation, just wanted to point out a few things. So number one, the gun that was included in the Seravee G and heavy weapons type, it's a very perfect fit on the hand. It does not shake or wobble. It just plugs in there right away, and I really love this gun as well. Which I really hope to see the variant where it's I believe it's a Seraphim Gundam variant, but it has like a GN Archer head, and it's basically a gym type mobile suit in the 00 series, which I believe, yeah, I think they called it the SEM or something like that, the unmanned units. I really hope to see a kit of that in the future someday, but still, definitely I really like that gun as well. And just to give you guys an idea, the beam sabers, they're not as great compared to the gun, so you can technically plug them in, but they're kind of on the sliding side, so they won't be like steady. It's just going to be shaking all over the place time to time, but still it works as well. And you still got a shorter one and a long one, so you can do all sorts of poses as well. I think the overall proportion kind of reminds me of some sort of a ninja type mech, if you ask me. But still, that's that for the weapon, so nothing too special. Okay, so the transformation is fairly simple, but you have to, number one, take off the head. Come on. And then you have to take off the hands, like that. And then it's all about, like, taking off this back part as well, which reveals the peg for the back, for the mobile suit, for Seravee Gundam. And then you have to reattach that part to the top as well to finish that extra Gundam head look going on here. And then it's all about folding the arms and legs in the correct position. So basically it's like this. You fold the legs like this, and then you move the arm. Oops, there we go. Arms like this. So I'll be right back with the finished transformation and with the mold to give you guys a comparison. Okay, I'm back. So I finished the transformation. If there's one part I forgot to mention, is that the knee sections here have to be taken off, and then you have to replug it into the right position. But other than that, here we have the finished version. So here is the Seraphim Gundam kit, and here is the Seravee Gundam's backpack mold of the Seraphim Gundam. So this one does not transform. So in terms of looks, they may look very similar, but when you look at the front, you may kind of get the idea. So there's a red part there, but looking at the cannons, I think I prefer the mold because, once again, instead of having those ugly holes, I think I would prefer having these green stickers, or clear stickers and clear parts as well, like this. So yeah, I just don't think this is the better version. So just that's one part as well, and there's one part I need to point out as well, but let me just attach this onto the kit first. So here we have the kit. So despite whichever version you get, as long as it's a Seravee Gundam, you are technically able to connect it as well. So let me just get it in the correct position. I just did this a few minutes ago, so it has to work. There we go. So we finally have it onto the back. So there's no big difference if you look at it in this angle, but when you look at the front, yes, those cannons do not look that great on the top section because of those holes. I think I really would rather have the green stickers and clear pieces. Now here's the problem as well. So the molding itself actually has more articulation, so you can actually move the cannon up and down as well, and moving to the side is no problem even for the Seraphim Gundam. But this articulation that allows to move the cannon up and down is not present onto the Seraphim Gundam. There's no extra joint there, so you're pretty much stuck in this angle as well. So yeah, and that was pretty much it for the review. So let me just get this off from the back. So here we have the Seraphim Gundam. A lot of people were technically complaining, or at the time, or even today, that they said like this does not transform. They should have just included this. I don't think you would have been too happy with this as well, because overall I think I would rather have those green parts instead of those ugly holes. And then, you know, it's just, yeah, the kit itself is just okay, but I wouldn't say it's not a deal breaker if you ask me. So it's more of I think it would come to the conclusion of, like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to have all the gimmicks, or would you rather have certain gimmicks out and then would have a proper functioning kit? So with that in mind, I think, yeah, I don't think this is like a must-buy kit for your Seravee Gundam, but if you just need to have that show accuracy thing, like, go for it, but don't have too much expectations. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the review. That was the review of the HG Seraphim Gundam. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.